always do it on my own, so I gotta get through it. And the only thing I know is to love what I'm doing. Never give up, never slow, till I finally prove it. Never listen to the no's, I just wanna keep moving. Keep my head up when I act, head up, that's a fact. Never looking back, I'ma keep myself on track. Keep my head up, staying strong, always moving on. Feel I don't belong, tell my thoughts to move along. Push myself to be the best, die with no regrets. Live with every breath, see my message start to spread. And I had so many dreams, then you hit your teens. Life ain't really what it seems, try to find out what it means. Always do it on my own, so I gotta get through it. And the only thing I know is to love what I'm doing. Never give up, never slow, till I finally prove it. Never listen to the no's, I just wanna keep moving. Yeah, I put out all this art, it's my only medicine. Yeah, everything I do, I'm just being genuine. Yeah, I'm sick of being screwed, feel my own adrenaline. Yeah, I do just what I do, and I hope you let me in, yeah.
So I wanted to come on here, and it's aside from our normal stuff, and we're gonna have a great show tomorrow. My man Griffin is gonna kill it. He was the star of my movie. He's a little kid. He's like 12 years old now. When we filmed The Weir, he was like 9. The kid is fantastic. So you guys are gonna meet him tomorrow. It's gonna be amazing. But what I wanted to do is come on here and kind of talk a little bit serious, but also talk about this whole Chip Gaines thing, and give you a little bit of background about myself and my journey as being a Christian, which I'm not perfect by no means, not perfect at all. So when I was, and people, I've talked about it like ad nauseum, is I was a little kid. I was diagnosed with acute lymphoblastic leukemia as a little kid, 2.5. Had it till I was about 9 or 10. So that was something that I don't wish on my worst enemies to have happen to you, with feeling like you literally in a car wreck every day. You have medication, 20 pills a day, and operations, and finding out that I couldn't have kids when I was like 8 or 9 years old isn't exactly something I put on my list of to-dos when I was a little kid. So all that stuff. So when I finally went out of remission, or I went into remission, I stayed in remission. I went in and out a couple times, and then finally was in final remission about 9 or 10. So we had a relatively normal-ish childhood after that. And my mom convinced my dad to let her go back to school. So she went to ITT Tech, and she was a reader. My mom was a very bright lady, very bright, very creative. That's where I get my creativity from, is from my mom. My dad is not creative at all. Like he couldn't do a circle and a triangle to save his life. So I'm very creative because of my mom. So when I was about 13, my mom started working. She went to ITT Tech. She started working for Xerox, the copier company. And she started to develop this cough, and she started having a cough. So she went to the hospital, the doctors, a few times to figure out what's going on with the cough. Well, come to find out is the cleaning supplies that she was using to clean these copiers and all this other stuff, toner and all this, was starting to she was basically absorbing it, so it was coating her lungs. And she had a form of lung cancer when I was like 13. She didn't drink, she didn't smoke, she didn't do anything. She was as straight arrow can be. And she got lung cancer, a form of lung cancer. I was like 13. And she had to get a bone marrow transplant. She tried to get somebody to match. She couldn't find somebody that was an exact match. Her brother, my Uncle Bob, her natural brother. She had 2 natural siblings, and then she had a couple like half brother and half sister. So one of the naturals was close, not perfect, but somewhat close. So she finally went in for this bone marrow transplant. She got the transplant, and she actually died of graft versus host disease, which is when the transplant doesn't take, and your organs and everything just starts shutting down. So you have me, and then my brother, but my brother's kind of quiet when it comes to a lot of this stuff. I'm a lot more vocal. You have me going through cancer from literally 2 to about 9. And then literally watching a parent slowly but surely dying. Again, I had cancer and I watched a parent literally dying in front of my eyes. Yes, my parents tried to have a normal-ish childhood for myself and my brother. And for the most part, we had some fun times when we were all together. And the day before, or the night before my mom went to the hospital, she wanted to hang out with me and my brother. And we went to Henry Ford Museum in Dearborn, Michigan. One of my favorite places. And it was one of my mom's favorite places. So she wanted to go there for, to hang out before she went in the hospital. And it was one of those times that, like, you kind of had an idea. You kind of understood that she may not come back. Like, this is pretty much the last time you can hang out with your mom. So when I was a little kid, I kind of had doubts of, having faith because of all the stuff going on. Like, God, why would you do this to me? And it's in my movie. God, why would you do this to me? I'm a little kid. Why? So I had a lot of doubt. I believe that there was a God. Obviously, I was talking to God saying, why would you do this to me? But I had a lot of doubt. Like, why would there be a superior being and you're leaving me out to dry, brother? Like, what is going on right now? So then my mom goes through this whole thing, and I'm literally watching my mom dying in front of myself. And I hung out with my mom for the last time. And then before she went in the hospital, and then she didn't come back. She didn't leave the hospital. So again, I had childhood cancer, and I watched a parent pass away. Those were rough times, but I slowly but surely started to have questions of, again, why would you do this to me? Why would you do this to me? You made me sick, and then I literally watched a parent die. Why would you do this to me? So I had a lot of built up frustration and anger during this time. And then, I started meeting people after high school, started partying. I never crossed the line. I never did drugs. I think I smoked weed like twice, and that was it. But I was drinking and, chasing girls around and doing the whole thing. A little overboard, because we were doing it just about every day. Maybe we didn't do it Sunday, but we did every other day. So when I was about 23, 24, it started kind of getting old, and I wasn't going out as much because it's just like, I want more out of my life. Like, this was fun and I don't regret any of it, but I need more. So I started working on myself. And there was one day that I was driving to my parents' house. I think it might have been like Easter morning or something. I'm driving to my parents' house, and I'm just sobbing the whole time. I'm driving and I can't see because I'm just sobbing the entire time for no reason. I'm literally just driving to my parents, like, and just sobbing my eyes out for absolutely zero reason. And that was the first time that I had, it almost felt like there was a weight pulled off my shoulders for the first time. And I still firmly believe, now in hindsight, that was God intervening. I completely think it was God intervening, saying, dude, like, it's time to not have hate in your heart anymore, not have doubt, because that's a powerful thing. It messes you up if you're constantly doubting. You're constantly like, well, this is bullshit. I'm getting screwed. This whole thing, and that was the first time that God interfered, came to me and was like, something's got to change. It has to. So I struggled for a couple years trying to figure it out, and it just got worse and worse and worse. And then I had a meltdown because things just weren't going right. And I finally went on my aunt's house, and I'm just crying and sobbing and just crying for no reason. And my aunt calls my dad, and it's like, yeah, Derek's over here, and yeah, he needs his dad right now. So then I went over to my parents' house, and I'm just crying, just nonstop, just crying. And the way my parents looked at me was kind of like, is Derek's head gonna start fucking spinning around and shit? like they was kind of looking at me like, what is going on right now? So then I started going to my friend Jason, I started going to church with him probably about 6 months later. And I started getting meeting people that were helping me heal. They didn't necessarily understand what I was going through, but at least they were helping me heal. I was meeting different types of people during that time. And for somebody like myself who had a journey with doubt, self-doubt, God doubt, doubting a lot, and I've been through a lot, and I've seen a lot at a very young age. So when you have somebody that hasn't gone through the gauntlet of shit and came out somehow, some way, it's hard for somebody like myself to understand how they're coming from things. So like, I understand everybody's different. Everybody looks at the world differently. But it was hard for me to understand how they were going through things, and they were making something that was this small into something this big, because I literally almost died and watched a parent die. So it was like, I'm not trying to dismiss what they were going through, but I kind of was, because it's like, what you're talking about is dumb. It doesn't make any sense. And you're making something that's trivial into something that's huge. So I constantly was working on myself, and then I started leaning more into my art, and that's when I started writing scripts more, and I started doing short films in Michigan, and I got to a point where I wanted to do it for a living, and I wanted more and more and more. I want to learn from the best, because that's the only way I'm going to get better, is to work with somebody that's better than me. So then when I was 30, I went to California. That was an experience in itself, and I don't regret being in California at all. I met some amazing people, and I met some pieces of shit, but I don't regret it at all. So when you have something like this Chip and Joanna Gaines thing, okay, I see both sides of things, because I'm in the entertainment industry and I understand, but I also am a person of God and very faithful, and I understand that side of things. So I can look at things both ways. But the godly side of me is taking over a little bit. So that's sort of what I wanted to talk about, is sort of a little bit of my journey and how I became a Christian. And I'm always constantly working on myself. Like I said, I ain't perfect. Never claimed to be perfect. So we're going to look at a couple clips, going to kind of comment on this. And the story had come out, and check out CountryCast. We showed this over the other day on Dave's channel, and they're not very godly people over there. So it was like, I kind of was like, let's show this, and they weren't really into it, but we know it is what it is. So go check out CountryCast. We're gonna watch his 5-minute video on the Gaineses, and then we'll talk about it. Let me share my. It helps if I share the screen.
The Gaines are facing major backlash from their Christian fans right now after their new show, Back to the Frontier, dropped on HBO Max last week for including a same-sex couple with 2 kids on the show. Fans who built up the Gaineses as pillars of traditional values feel straight up betrayed, like the couple's throwing away the biblical principles that made their brand so strong in the first place. Back to the Frontier features couples out on some remote land, building their own cabins, farming from scratch, handling livestock, chopping wood.
So the Gaineses started on HGTV doing Fixer Upper. I think it was called, I'm pretty sure it was called Fixer Upper. And they were marketed as Christians, and they had a family of 4 or 5. And she was an interior designer, and he was more the manly, chopping wood and cutting 2x4s type of guy. So they were very endearing, and a lot of people that are Christians kind of latched onto them because HGTV, has a lot of interior designers that are the gay variety. And when these guys came along, they were different than what was being presented before. So I think a lot of people just kind of glommed onto them because it's like, well, they're kind of they're a strong family, they're a Christian family. So everybody kind of glommed on to the Gaineses. And they're very successful at it. And then I guess they got in some sort of heat in 2014. I thought I had it somewhere. Maybe I don't. Where was it? No, this is just some of the announcements for it. Anyway, I'm pretty sure it was 2014, where they had made some remarks about gay people. And it was relating to their church and stuff like that. And people just freaking try to dunk on them. The problem that I have, okay? When I was in California, I met some amazing people. Gay, straight, it didn't matter. Met some amazing people. But like I said, I also met some shitheads. So I never judged them for being gay. Never did. I judge them as people. And I think that's what you should. I'm constantly working on myself. So I'm not the type of person that's going to push my faith on somebody. I'll kind of accept if the person's a good person, I will accept them because I'm always kind of working on myself because of the story that I told at the beginning of the stream. It's more about me trying to figure shit out 90% of the time. And like I said, I'm not a great Christian. I have flaws. I get emotional sometimes, like either emotional, like sobbing or crying or whatever, but also emotional, they get pissed off about stuff. So, so they, there's a lot of people that glommed onto them because they were not gay, they were pro-family, so there was people that liked them. And what the problem is if you have a show that you introduce a gay couple into, people are going to be like, you sold us that you guys are Christian and you guys were, people that believed in the Bible. And then all of a sudden it's like you're pulling the rug out from underneath people. And that's how these people feel. I don't necessarily feel like that because I can see both perspectives. I can understand about putting a gay couple in the show because it's a fish out of water story. You put a gay couple in there and give them some freaking axes and be like, okay, do something. So it's a fish out of water type of thing. So I understand the entertainment value of it, but I also understand the Christian part of it because they sold us as they were Christians and that they're godly people. They follow the Bible pretty loyally. So that's what people were sold on is what they were sold on was them being a Christian family. So like I said, I see both ends. So the show finally comes out. They made their announcement. I think this had it. I had highlighted it. It was somewhere in here where it was talking about the show, but this was like almost a year ago. So they were talking about some of the shows that they were introducing by Chip and Joanna Gaines. And at some place, I thought it was like down. Anyway, this was like a year ago, and they made the announcement. Oh yeah, Back to the Frontier coming early next year. Magnolia first ever social experiment Back to the Frontier is an 8-episode series produced by the Wall and Wall Media. So they announced it like over a year ago. They never said what the couples were or who was actually going to be in it. They just said that there's going to be multiple families that are going to be in the 1800s America, and that was it. That's all they said. And this is Warner Brothers Discovery, which owns. I don't know if they own Magnolia, but they might be a partner of Magnolia. So we're gonna watch the rest of this.
Blood for everything, no electricity or running water, just pure old school survival.
And that right there is one of the gay couple. That's one of the gay men, and that's his son. That they had insemination. They didn't have it naturally. They had him out of a test tube. 2 sons.
And they're competing for a major prize after weeks on the grind. But the spotlight's on one gay couple and their twin sons, born through surrogacy. And it's got people who stuck by Chip and Joanna through past controversies saying this crosses a line, normalizing something scripture calls sin and undermining the idea of marriage as one man and one woman.
So that it wouldn't have been a big deal if they didn't come out and say that they're Christians, they believe in the Bible as gospel, that's what people were sold. So if they never came out and all they did was just kind of led by their actions at, going to church and having 4 or 5 kids, and they're interior designers, and Chip does carpentry and all this other stuff, I think people will still have liked them. It's just their faith wasn't part of their story, not part of the marketing materials of like, hey, this is Chip and Joanna here. So like I said, it's people think that they are basically having the rug pulled out from underneath of them. And it's like, I'm not the type of person that's going to automatically think that, but when you react to something, then I'm going to think it. It's all about your actions, man. I say this till I'm blue in the face. It's not what you say, it's what you do. Show me. Don't tell me, show me. And they had a part where they're trying to show somebody and they fucked up. And that's a problem for me. That's where the problem lies, is because instead of owning the like, yeah, we fucked up, they basically like, oh, well, look at the bird over here. You know what I mean? Like, they didn't want to admit to it, and they were dumb about some shit. And not necessarily Joanna, but Chip was. Because Joanna hasn't really said much. So, anyway.
Chip and Joanna first blew up starting with Fixer Upper on HGTV in 2013, flipping beautiful houses in Waco into family havens over 5 seasons, drawing millions who connected with their real talk faith, their big family, and that wholesome vibe. They turned that into a Magnolia.
Real talk faith, exactly. That was part of the package deal that they had.
Only a juggernaut, bedding, furniture, paint lines, a bakery, restaurant, even a hotel in Waco, plus their Magnolia Network kicking off in 2021, swapping out Discovery's DIY network with shows about home, heart, and hard work, all wrapped in those conservative Christian roots that evangelicals loved. But their faith landed them in trouble back in 2016 when BuzzFeed dug into their church, Antioch Community Church, where the pastor Jimmy Seibert preached hard against same-sex marriage, backed conversion therapy, and said homosexuality's a sin per the Bible. Now, critics ripped into them.
And it is. If you are a Christian, you read the Bible. Inside of that book that people may want to say is whatever, if you believe in the Bible, you believe it's a sin because in the Bible it says it's a sin. There is no like, it says it in there, but I'm going to choose to kind of do my own thing over here and just kind of hide my eyes. I mean, it doesn't work that way. You either believe or you don't believe. There is no like, I'm going to believe on Tuesdays and maybe next Thursday I'm going to believe. I'm going to be a believer on Sundays at church. No, it doesn't work that way.
For never having LGBTQ folks on Fixer Upper, figuring their belief.
All of DIY channel and the HD channel are mostly gay people designers. Why do they have to have it on their show specifically? It makes no sense. you never hear Christian people say, well, you got to have a Christian person on that gay show. You got to. Come on. There's always a double standard, and it's always going one way. Always. That's where I have the problem.
Kept the casting traditional, and fans rallied around them, defending their right to live out their convictions without bending to cultural pressure. Now, the Gaineses didn't lay out their exact take on gay marriage back then, but Joanna opened up in a 2021 interview about how those anti-LGBTQ labels hurt deep, saying they show respect to everybody, no matter what. By 2022, Chip was telling Variety they're not about politics, just helping folks. But now, with this show produced under their network and out since...
If you're a Christian person and you're going to Variety for your news or your opinion, that's not exactly the friendliest paper when it comes to Christians. So that tells you right there that their publicist or somebody is basically like, well, go talk to Variety. What? They're not exactly the most friendly when it comes to Christians. Why would you go into the devil's den and be like, hi, hello, I'm a Christian? Why would you do that? Retarded thinking.
July 10th, a lot of their fans see it as shifting away from their traditional values. Conservative voices are calling it their Bud Light moment, where chasing broader appeal means ditching the base
and that's a little bit much. Their Bud Light, yeah, that's a little much.
that got them there, and it's disappointing to them because their platforms always pointed to God's design for family. Now, Franklin Graham hit social media hard, posting, I hope this isn't true, but I read today that Chip and Joanna Gaines are featuring a gay couple in their new series. If it is true, it's very disappointing. While we are to love people, we should love them enough to tell them the truth of God's word. His word is absolute truth. God loves us, and its design for marriage is between one man and one woman. Promoting something that God defines as a sin is in itself sin. That,
and like I said, if somebody doesn't believe in Christianity or the Bible, that's fine. That's free will. But don't tell somebody else that not all of the Bible is correct. I thought you didn't believe in it. I thought it wasn't your thing. Again, the double standard makes me fucking sick. Where somebody doesn't believe in something, but they sure have a large opinion about shit. And sometimes it's, I should be heard is bullshit. You shouldn't be heard. Unless you have something that is going to add to the conversation, add that's better for somebody's life, then that's something that maybe I'll listen to, or that somebody should listen to. But just because you're on social media and you have an opinion, that's bullshit.
got over
It's dumb attitude.
22,000 likes quickly, with shares flying and supporters agreeing, saying it looks like they're caving to Hollywood's agenda, turning a family show into something that confuses kids.
Yeah, I mean, it's but who knows? Okay, so here's the rub. Okay, I worked on 30 reality shows, roughly, and there's casting producers, there's executive producers, there's story producers. So at some point, somebody probably, and I don't know how involved the Gaineses are. Do they just own the network and they're sort of a figurehead that they go to for big decisions, but they actually have an executive that kind of manages everything? Did they go to the Gaineses and said, hey, this is kind of a fish out of water story. Did you want to just do all straight couples, or did you want to have black couples, LGBT couples, little people couples? Like, did you want to have it diverse so it's a fish out of water type of thing? So it's like these conversations we're not privy to. So it's like we don't know. So it's a lot of speculation. So it's like the only thing you can go on is, are you a Christian? Do you believe in the Bible? And if you do, and their audience does, then you have to give what your audience wants, not shit on your audience. I mean, everybody that follows me on this channel knows that I hate when freaking movies and TV shows shit on their audience. It's the same thing. Just because it's a Christian thing, it's the same thing. They're doing the exact same shit, which I hate, regardless if it's on the left or the right. In this case, it's on the right.
on biblical truth. Other fans are piling on, one calling it a hard left turn that tanks the brand's trust.
Because if I was the story producer, or if I was the producer of this show, and I go to the Gaineses with all kinds of attitude, with all kinds of ideas about like what type of contestants do you want, and where do you want to focus? Do you want to focus our casting in the South? Do you want to focus our casting nationwide and get people that are from different cities? You know, like a city person versus a country person. You know what I mean? Like those are conversations that you would have when you're putting the show together. Do you want to have a gay couple? Do you want to have a LGBT? Do you want to have a little person couple? Like, what do you want? Because it's a fish out of water story. It's a fish out of water show where it's like you're putting people that aren't from the country or are so used to modern technology, you're putting them in a position where they're a fish out of water. If that's what the type of show it is. So it's like for all these fucking Christians that are going to sit there and glom on it, I understand because their audience are Christians. So you have to give the audience what they want. And it sounds like to me that Chip and Joanna are like, fuck the audience. That's where the problem lies. That's like this YouTube, my YouTube channel. I look at the analytics. My audience is male and female, mostly male, but some female, 35 years and older. If I all of a sudden like got purple hair and I got like a mohawk and all this other stuff, that's not my audience. That my audience doesn't watch me because I got purple hair and a freaking mohawk and all this other stuff, and I'm like I got paint all over my face. Like that's not my audience. So why would I shit on the people that are watching my show? Like I'm still trying to figure out like what people want to watch and what type of content people would rather watch over the other stuff. So that's all that stuff that you have to try to figure out. But why would I come in with a mohawk and it's freaking purple and the shit's crazy? Because that's not my audience. It's the same thing. They just have a larger audience, and they chose to have their faith broadcast to everyone, and they're getting shit on because of it.
Another pointing out how it's marketed as wholesome family viewing, but pushes this in your face. Now, for his part, Chip clapped back on X, writing, "Talk, ask, listen, maybe even learn. Too much to ask of modern American Christian culture. Judge first."
Okay, so here's where the problem lies. Well, I always say, don't tell me, show me. If they came out collectively or separately and was like, okay, guys, we had an idea for this show. It's a fish out of water type show. I wanted to have a wide variety of people that are going to participate that aren't used to they're not used to being in the country, especially 1800s America. They're not used to it. So it's a fish out of water show. And our ideas are have different people from different backgrounds, from different ethnicities, from maybe straight, maybe gay, maybe this, maybe that. Like if they came out and was like upfront with it, then people would be like, okay, I see what they're trying to do. But they didn't, and then all of a sudden Chip comes and makes some stupid ass tweet about like the modern Christians. It's like, bro, as long as you were honest with people, I think that people would understand. The true Christians that are the Bible people, they'll probably still say that it's a sin and all this other stuff, and I get it. But if they were upfront with the information about the show and what type of people that they wanted to have as cast members in a show, I think it would have been different. But no, he goes on to X saying dumb shit, and it's like, bro, you're basically admitting that you said screw your audience, we're going to do what we want. That's what you're admitting right here. No transparency. It's just like blah blah blah, non-believers, blah blah blah, this and that, American Christians. It's like, bro, you're literally 4.7 million people viewed you going blah blah blah, this and Christians and non-believers. It's like, come on, bro. You basically told on yourself. You basically told on yourself, saying, you know what, fuck my audience. That's exactly what he did, and there's no way he can take it back. You know what I mean? Like, oh, sorry, my bad. No, you can't take it back at this point. You pretty much shit on your audience, and the viewership for either this show or their network is going to go down severely because of dumb shit like this. Because you sold people a bill of goods, and then basically turned around and said, fuck you in the audience. Again, left, right, center, I don't care. Don't shit on your audience, period.
Understand later. Never. It's a sad Sunday when non-believers have never been confronted with hate or vitriol until they're introduced to an American Christian. Now, Joanna stayed quiet so far, but insiders say they're sticking to diverse stories, noting other Magnolia shows had LGBTQ people without backlash before, framing it as just inclusion, not endorsement. Defender.
I understand that, but transparency goes a long way. But when you go on the X saying dumb shit, you're basically telling on yourself. That's where the problem is.
Say it's loving your neighbor like Jesus taught, showing kindness without.
And somebody says, well, God is love. No, God is everything, not just love. God is everything. So for these, God is love, God is diversity bullshit. God is everything.
Compromising, but for many conservatives, it feels
God is the blade of grass on my front lawn. God is the bushes in my front lawn. God is the carpet. God is this desk. God is this microphone. God is everything, not just love. People that say that is a Hollywood version of what you think God is. And honestly, and this could be a hot take. So look out for the hot takes. You ready? They were probably centrist to begin with. And back in the day when they started their show, they basically decided to take that angle to add a little different spice to the channel, because like I said, there was a lot of gay LGBT designers back then. So they wanted to kind of spice it up a little bit and have some diversity and whatever. So they probably said, yeah, we can do that. Because I mean, for the most part, it follows us, but they're more centrist than they are actual super far right Christian blah blah blahs. So give me 1 second, guys. Let me take a quick break, and then I'll be right back. Let me play a video real quick. I'll be right back.
Oh yeah, I'm stable. Oh yeah, no label. Oh yeah, you know me. I have only a path. I'm lonely, but damn, I'm going to win. I want no fake love, I want the real stuff. Everybody listen up, cause I'll only say it once. I'm gonna show you all the path. If you want it bad, I'm gonna show you where it's at. Yeah, how you can get it back. Yeah, cause I ain't never done. I'll be number one, working hella hard until I get just what I want. Yeah, rises like the sun, yeah, fatal like a gun. Shooter's gonna shoot and I'm gonna shoot until I fall. Always do it on my own, so I gotta get through it. And the only thing I know is to love what I'm doing. Never give up, never slow, till I finally prove it. Never listen to the no's, I just wanna keep moving. Yeah, I put out all this art, it's my only medicine. Yeah, everything I do, I'm just being genuine. Yeah, I'm sick of being screwed, feel my own adrenaline. Yeah, I do just what I do, and I hope you let me in, yeah. I'm grateful, oh yeah, able, oh yeah, I'm stable, oh yeah, no label, oh yeah, you know me, I have only a path, I'm lonely, but damn, I'm going to win, yeah.
So anyway, so they were probably centrist the whole way. They were approached by the production company, maybe the story producers, about like, hey, you know, you guys are Christians. Do you want to lean into the fact that you guys are Christians? You know, it'll add a little bit diversity to our channel. And they were probably like, sure, I'm good with that. But they're probably centrist the whole time. That way they can just have plausible, what do they call that? Plausible deniability. Well, you know, it's crazy where like I make a decision and nobody's happy. I mean, people do that shit all the time. So that's my guess, is they were centrist the whole time. they were okay with LGBTQ people, but they were giving the optics that they were Christian and they were all this other stuff. It's all about optics. All about the optics.
Like prioritizing business growth over holding the line on scripture, especially when their audience leaned on them for that. Now, the split could hit hard for fans who weathered the 2016 controversy, now wondering if boycotts are next, like what sank Bud Light, potentially tanking viewership for the Magnolia Network if the core crowd walks away. Of course, what lies ahead in this situation remains to be seen as
yeah, because they weren't transparent at all. They were basically like, we're super Christians. Oh, what do you mean? I made a decision. You don't like it? I mean, that's exactly what they fucking did. That's exactly what they did. And like I said, I shitbag the fucking left. I'm going to shitbag the right too. I mean, it's not like I'm a all-encompassing person that's going to call out the bullshit. And this is the bullshit. Okay, so oh yeah, this was they showed part of his tweet. I wanted to show the. Okay, let me super zoom it real quick. Give it the old super zoom. The super zoom treatment. Okay, so this is the stupid shit that he said when there was backlash. You know, just like talk, ask, listen, maybe even learn. I don't know. It's crazy. Like instead of just saying, "Hey guys, you know, we wanted to have a show where it was a fish out of water show, and we want to show people that are in different cultures and different communities and this, that, and the other thing." No, instead of that, you want to make excuses, which you're basically telling on yourself, that you're basically saying "fuck you." So the backlash is going to come severe, big time, because it's like people already felt like that you're putting the wool over their eyes, and then when you come up with some lame, judge understanding, come on, dude, you told on yourself that you don't give a shit, and then he came out same day. On our way to church, y'all enjoy this beautiful Sunday. Like, what? He's going to get a gold star because he took his family to church. What? What? For all you folks that are believers, church is not the way for everything. God is right here. God is right here. God is in the microphone. God is in the desk. You don't have to go to church to be a super Christian. So for him to say that again, he told on himself. Oh, you know what? My words aren't powerful enough, and you know, you're not looking at the perspective of you know, a person that has more faith than I do. I mean, it's crazy. Like he's telling on himself that, like, I don't give a shit. We're gonna do what we want to do and make money, and then y'all can go suck it. That's exactly what he's doing. So, like, hopefully the fall is real. And I don't want to see people lose their jobs. But when you have incompetence and people that are gaslighting and constantly having excuses opposed to being transparent with anything, I don't give a what being transparent. Some people don't like transparency, but being transparent, that's what they could have done and said, "Hey guys, you know, this is what we wanted to do. We decided to go with more of a diverse cast. It's a fish out of water story. You know, hopefully you guys enjoy the content. Hopefully, you know, if you want to have a conversation, we'll have an X meeting so you guys can ask any question. You know what I mean? Like they could have handled it much differently, other than just like, nah, I'm taking my family to church. Like, come on, the bullshit's real. The bullshit is real. And when I see that they're from Waco, I'm always just like, wonder if they have any kind of link to what happened in Waco in the 80s. That's the conspiracy theory of my brain. I can't help it. It just comes out. Well, and it's not good that the Hollywood Reporter is following you. So they say one word and see ya. So, but anyway, I wanted to have this video because it was kind of on my heart. And I know people were dunking on them and everything else. And they need to be dunked on. They need to be dunked on. Because like I said, If somebody on the left does this, I'm calling it out. If somebody on the right does this, I'm calling it out, because it's hypocrisy. It's gaslighting. We're going to tell you one thing, but then if we do something else and you question it, then that's a problem. That's problematic. It's like, God, like, it's dumb shit as far as I'm concerned. And it does need to be called out. It needs to be called out on the Bible side, but it also needs to be called out on just the hypocrisy and BS side. You know what I mean? But not being transparent. So thank you everybody for watching, and my little story at the beginning and talking about this whole thing. I talked about it on another show, and they're not really Christians. So I was like, you know what? I'm just going to go do kind of a live stream talking about it myself, just to kind of get it out there, what my feelings are. So hopefully you guys like it. And then, comment and see, what you guys think about this. And I understand that everybody's not a believer and everything else. Do you believe that they should have been transparent? Do you believe the Christian side, where they should have been transparent, the fact that they're promoting a gay couple that's not a biblical part of being a Christian? Like, what side are you on? I understand both sides because I work in the entertainment industry, but I'm also a believer at the same time. So I can see both sides, but I can also call BS when I see it. So thank you everybody so much for watching. I got more videos coming out. We talk about movies and we talk about music, and those are primarily the two things that we do. We're going to have more actors on here, do some interviews with some actors, and hopefully from some musicians and stuff. So let me know what type of content that you guys like, because I'm just going to be pumping out stuff. And then if you guys are like, you know what, I kind of like that, let me know what you guys like. So thank you everybody, and we'll see you next time.